Welcome to VMware in Conversation, a series where we dig into what Canadians and Canadian organizations are doing with tech as they really move their organizations to the next state of digital change. Our guest today is Chris Swadesh, who's head of hybrid cloud at SoftChoice. SoftChoice is a company that's been in business for 30 years, helping organizations with their digital change, and has been a partner with VMware for several years as well. Chris and I personally have worked together on the Canadian market for many years. Chris, thanks very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Peter. Good to see you.
Let's dive right in. In one of the earlier episodes of this series, we spoke with Claude Rees, where we talked about a lot of different things that Canadian organizations are facing right now when it comes to IT change. But one of the big things in there was transition to multi-cloud, and that was a top priority with a lot of executives in Canada. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely, and for a number of good reasons. Um, I think organizations are trying to do a number of things around this. Try and make balanced decisions about their technology portfolio, and they're really trying to diversify their services, kind of hedge their bets and de-risk. It isn't just about a decision on which public clouds, as it is what's the right model, what are the right capabilities. That's what we're saying.
And one of the things that I think we're starting to see is a shift from do cloud now because there was a global event that caused a lot of organizations to move to cloud and change how they did things very quickly, to more of a cloud done right, where people can take a step back and say, okay, now that I'm through this big push, what would I do if I did things the right way? What are you seeing? What's SoftChoice seeing with cloud done right?
Yeah, Peter, that's really been our motto for the last, several years now. I think we've all been in these conversations with organizations who have this grandiose strategy of going 100% all in on cloud now, right? Short duration of time, big expectations, kind of setting themselves up for a bit of failure early. And our approach is different. It's always been one of balance and really focused on driving what we call ROI, right? Which is reduction, optimization, and innovation.
Chris, one of the things that I've seen is Canadian organizations moving from a hybrid model to more of a multi-cloud model to help them manage risk of being all in on just one cloud. And I know SoftChoice is working with all of the major cloud providers as well. Are you starting to see multi-cloud really take off in Canada?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the opening comments I had on, what are we seeing in terms of cloud adoption within Canada, I think hit on some of the points as to why. We talked about, the need to de-risk, right? To mitigate the risk factor of not have all your eggs in one basket. And that's certainly part of it. We also see, not every cloud is equal. They're not all created the same, and their distinct value varies, right? And so there's this, I think, perspective of best of breed is ideally where customers are wanting to be, but the complexities in how do you do that effectively, seamlessly, poses other obstacles and frankly other opportunities for us to help solve because they aren't insurmountable, right? There are definitely workable situations, but you have to think through it. And part of that de-risk factor is how do you avoid getting locked into one strategy that needs to be swapped over in a short term of span of time if you realize there's shortcomings.
Chris, I've noticed a difference in choices of cloud providers and priorities between Canadian organizations and US organizations. Working with both, are you seeing differences in priorities, and what should Canadian organizations be thinking about when they're looking at a cloud provider?
We are for sure. Um, I'd say it's becoming less of a disparity between US and Canada. I mean, I think there is clearly some reasons why, right? Azure was first in market in Canada, has a massive presence, and it took a while for the others to catch up. And now what we're seeing is a very vetted approach to understand what's the right partner cloud model for us in each given situation. And it's not, as we might think putting all your eggs into one particular cloud, it may not serve the needs of the business long term. And so I'd say, especially as these services and capabilities and footprints of the other hyperscalers come more to fruition in Canada, um, keep an open mind, right? There is a best of breed approach that doesn't mean adding complexity. And VMware, frankly, helps really simplify that model if you're looking at VMware on cloud or Tanzu. And my approach is always not so much where you're running it, but how do you build it once and run it anywhere, right? That's the I think ultimate goal of most organizations. It's the flexibility to make the decision at the time they need to.
I agree. That flexibility is incredibly important and something that we are privileged to be able to give our customers together.
Absolutely.
So, Chris, I'm a big Blue Jays fan. I've watched a lot of games throughout the summer. It's always on the TV. I understand Soft Choice has done a lot of work with MLB. Tell me about that.
We have in some really exciting stuff actually. Um, yeah, I think the MLB is challenged with a few things that cloud is certainly helping to solve for. They're very much focused on making sure that when you're in those seats or at home watching the game, you're getting the best possible experience you can. And technology feeds that. How do they give you insights that are interesting to you around the game, around what's going on? Or if you're in the stands and you need a snack, how do you find the best path to the most empty concession stand so you're not waiting in line for an hour or find the nearest restroom? But there's a lot of use cases that we find. And then on the other end is how do you use all that game data that's being gathered behind the scenes and serve that up more real time for the coaches, the players, and the owners to make more real time decisions. And so some really exciting stuff happening within MLB. And there's a very big focus and frankly a bit of a charter for them to heavily leverage AI. And the best way to do that clearly is a pretty tight integration between what's going on within their on-prem data centers and cloud and the AI services from the cloud providers.
Chris, let's turn the tables a little bit. You and I have been business partners for a while now. Any questions, any thoughts on your mind for me?
Yeah, certainly, Peter. I'd love to.
Go for it.
One of the key conversations that comes up in almost every customer engagement right now is cloud marketplace and how to best leverage it. We've had a lot of engagement with VMware there and what the strategy is, what the go forward looks like over the next few years. We have our take, but I'd love to get your view on what should customers really be thinking through as they're building that strategy and incorporating cloud marketplaces into it.
Yeah, marketplaces have become fairly significant for us with our customers in Canada. And ultimately, it's about choice and flexibility. It is choice and flexibility is important for your technology in cloud. I think marketplaces make choice and flexibility part of the procurement process, right? And people in large organizations and governments who are accustomed to large RFPs and contract negotiations, I think love the ability to work through a marketplace where you have a pre-assigned budget that you can leverage, pre-negotiated contracts, pre-approved technologies that you can go in and acquire. And so for us, we just want to help you solve your cloud challenge. Whether you choose to purchase that through the Azure Marketplace or the Amazon Marketplace or work directly with us, it really doesn't matter. We just want to make it easy and flexible for people to move forward their IT agenda in Canada.
Makes a ton of sense. There's a lot of compounding value that customers can find when they're consolidating their spend and leveraging commit contracts, and a lot of value that's way too often left on the table and misunderstood. So I'm glad the focus is there with VMware for sure. Softchoice was recognized as VMware's Global Partner of the Year, several months ago, which we're completely appreciative of and humbled by. Um, it was for us really about driving the customer, engagement and championing their strategies and capabilities around multi-cloud and app modernization. And I'm curious, how important do you find it to find a partner you can trust to work with?
I think it's incredibly important to have partnerships that are based on a common vision. And that's one of the interesting things about VMware and SoftChoice. If you look at our vision, our mission, and how we want to help our customers, they're perfectly aligned. And it's been that way for several years. So as we have jointly developed our approach to cloud and our approach to customers, we've been in lockstep.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Chris. And to all of our viewers, be on the lookout for more episodes of VMware in Conversation.